Good afternoon, everybody. It's game day one of EuroBasket here in Milan, and those images of the beautiful city of Milan and the Media Forum here. And Ukraine and Great Britain will face off in what, on game day one, could be an absolutely decisive game in qualification. With me, Azania Stewart, the Great Britain and London Lions centre. Azania, EuroBasket every single day, every single game is a huge one. None bigger than this.
Yes, thank you, Mark. It's always a pleasure to work with you, but this is the stage is set. You said yourself, Ukraine and Great Britain, both of them here as we see today's games.
So Ukraine and the Great Britain will kick us off. Croatia and Greece, what a game that is, what a history in that one. And then the nightcap game, Italy and Estonia. Estonia looking to upset the hosts on game day one and really get us off to a marvelous start here in Milan.
Yeah, really exciting day of basketball, really.
Huge. Huge game.
And a huge game for both of these teams, right? They've just come off of World Cup qualifier games. Both teams unfortunately lost. Ukraine lost to Iceland into overtime 91-88, and then also lost to Italy 97-89. And then Great Britain also took 2 L's in that competition against Belgium, 72-57, and then Latvia in Newcastle, 80-87. So both of these teams trying to find their first win, and why not here? This is like a final.
Absolutely. This for them, every game for these guys, get into the second round is going to be a huge one. Great Britain being introduced to the crowd here in Milan. And their second performance against Latvia so much better. Really took the Latvians to a great game. Miles Hessen, what a day for him.
Yeah, good day for him, especially he's going, this is his 50th cap for Great Britain, and being a Great Britain national myself, putting the Great Britain jersey on across your chest, being able to sing the national anthem is a massive achievement, and so for him to do it 50 times is fantastic for him.
Yeah, Miles, one of the leading players on this Great Britain team. Now we're going to get a look at the Ukrainian team coming out. This team quality, 1 to 12, everybody can make a contribution. And that's so important for them because they do. Every coach uses every single player in this roster. They all get time. They've all got to step up to the plate.
Yeah, and I think number 23, Prestovi, he said earlier, they have 9 new players. This is their first EuroBasket, and that's a different energy for them, a different look. They're young, and obviously what's going on with Ukraine right now, they're really trying to do their nation and their country proud. So that's a really big push for them. Well,
Prestovi, the only guy from the Ukrainian team that is on the roster that played against Great Britain in 2013. The last 2 times he's played, Clark and Hessen and Van Oostrom all played in that game, which was a decisive game. And Ukraine made the second stage after beating Great Britain on that occasion. 2-1. They have the head-to-head. We'll be back after the national anthems to talk more about what's going to be, I think, an enthralling and classic EuroBasket game to kick us off here in Milan. But here's the national anthems, starting off with Great Britain and followed up by the Ukraine.
The national anthem of Great Britain.
And now the national
ladies
anthem
and gentlemen, we
of
ask that you
Ukraine.
please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem of Ukraine.
is always my favorite part, Mark.
I always say it's the one thing that really does set national team basketball apart from any other big game. The emotion on players' faces and the feeling you get from the gym is just made so special by the national anthem playing, and no different on that one, because both teams know how important it is, and then the national anthem really hammers it home for you.
Yeah, and you know, to play for your national team is always a fantastic moment.
And here's the third team on the floor, Mr. Marquez, Mr. Yilmaz, and Mr. Lucic from Portugal, Turkey, and Montenegro, respectively. As always, the best officials in Europe taking charge of arguably the best games you can ever see on the European continent. EuroBasket, every single game is meaningful. Every single game could go either way. It's going to be intriguing for me as Zany, as we're going to look at the starting lineups in a moment, but real contrast. Great Britain spread the floor quick. Ukraine got some real size.
Yeah, they're pretty big, as you see the lineup there.
Well, Gabe Owaseni has made that starting center place his own. The big thing for me is Carl Weedle stepping in with, you know, to an extent, last minute to be a starter. Had a great game against Latvia, and he's so important defensively for this roster.
Yeah, Weedle for me has had some really great moments. A spark usually off the bench, but tonight gets his starting lineup. And then there's the main player, Ovi Soko, who's not starting, so he will be the spark off the bench today.
Absolutely. Look, those numbers, though, in the qualifiers, nearly 19 points a game at 61%. When Ovi Soko gets going, the phrase unstoppable is much overused in the world of basketball, but he really does take a lot of stopping. Nate Ryan King played for Great Britain in the 2012 Olympic Games and was in the first EuroBasket final appearance in 2009 and 2011 for the Great Britain national team. Was an assistant, now the head coach, and obviously what a servant to the game. Here's the starting lineup for Ukraine, big and talented.
Yeah. I think for me, go ahead, you first.
No, I was going to say, Haran's been tremendous for me.
Yes.
There's lots of, you know, Mihaly gets a lot of credit, you know, with his NBA background and Lem, but like Haran comes up with numbers. His numbers were huge in qualifiers. Tremendous player.
Yeah, I think so for sure. And then Mihaly, we have to speak about him. He is an NBA player. There's a lot in this tournament, so. But he really needs to get himself going, establish himself very, very quick. There he is. Number 10, and he's had a good stint. He's played with a fair few teams. He's with the Raptors right now. There's his points average, 17 points, 4 rebounds. But I would like for him to establish himself very, very early in this game.
I think it's so important for Coach Bagatskis, the Latvian head coach, who's, as it says there, coached Latvia 11, 13, 15, and 17, had a lot of success with that national team. And if you think about the players that came through the Latvian system at that time, he has to take a lot of credit for the way they have progressed. The countdown to TISO countdown to tip-off. We're 1 minute away from the first game here in Milan. This arena has seen some great nights of basketball. I think we're on the verge of seeing 5 days of classic EuroBasket action. And it's always those opening moments. Be interested to see which team settles first.
Yeah, and as the crowd comes in, it's so nice to have a crowd. There's some good, see some Ukraine and Great Britain flags in the arena, so that's always good, and it will start to fill up as we have a long day of great basketball, and this is the start of it.
We have a very long day of great basketball, and the hosts will be in the nightclub game, tipping off at 9 o'clock. That's way past my bedtime.
Yeah, don't worry, I got you. I'll get you a drink and a snack. Don't worry, keep you happy.
Hey, the happiest place to be at the moment is watching any of these EuroBasket games for any basketball fan. Wherever you're joining us from, anywhere in the world, this is arguably the toughest tournament of international basketball there is. There is no game off in EuroBasket. Look at the performances of the games yesterday. If you were watching yesterday, looking at the Slovenia-Lithuania game, the Turkey-Montenegro game, last minute Belgium winning on the buzzer. That's par for the course for EuroBasket. And I'm sure we're going to see some action like that here in Milan. So welcome to Milan. Great Britain in the blue, Ukraine in the yellow uniform, and Ukraine will get a first look at it in the half court. It's Liznyuk gets it into the half court. They're going to go pick roll sideline, which is pretty much bread and butter for them. On the inside, little weak finish, great rotation defensive by Great Britain, but they come up with a three, is short. And finally, Weedle comes down with it for Great Britain, and Ukraine really did miss an opportunity to go early.
They sure did, and a good defensive stop there, and Weedle with the ball.
Skip Soluseni hands it off. Nelson, Olaseni mid-range, puts up the jumper, knocks it down, and gave Olaseni in space 10 feet from the hoop is a real danger.
Yeah, and we spoke about him. He is a big force for Great Britain, so to see the ball go in early for him, good start.
Well, Great Britain trying to isolate the screen, but they all rotate away. The three from the top is good, and Alex Len didn't move an inch doing that, just held his space, and often staying still gets you open.
Yep, and if you've got a big boy who can shoot from the top, it really spreads the offense and hard defense for Great Britain to cover.
So hard show and recover. Hessen with mid-range looks short, a little indecisive on the shot. Ukraine have a chance to run, and Lukashov will advance the basketball. Inside touch, Helon has it, looks to play with his back to the hoop, gets to the middle. That's offensive, that's great defense by Hessen. Love the way the referees clean up that part of the game the last few years.
And that's a massive stop here. Look, he is one-on-one, down low, big body, and just gets hit and sells it very well.
Hessen couldn't do anything better than that. He was in stance, stayed low, took the contact on the torso. Great Britain are going to have to share the ball in the backcourt. They don't really have an out-and-out point apart from Nelson on the floor at the moment. Hessen goes up, second move, tough one off the glass is no good. Ball's hunted down, but the Ukraine will come up with it. Lukashov has it, looks down the floor. Easy release to Luis Nuke, he looks inside. Turns down the inside option. Helon will hit the second side. And again, Ukraine looks at the pick and roll. Lukashov gets it to Len outside the three, puts it on the floor. Nuke to the middle, little floater for two is good. Turn the corner really nicely, and here's instant offense.
Yeah, Bud's not there, getting deep in the paint. You need to keep him out, but that is a good drive by him.
Mockford on the perimeter, comes off the screen, stops and pops the long two, doesn't get the roll. Towed the line. Lukashov will pull the strings for the Ukraine. Oh, Bislov just rotated to the middle. Nelson takes one for the team. And the Ukraine getting to the middle a little too easily at the moment, either on the dribble or the pass.
Yeah, way too easily, but they're moving the ball very, very good on offense here. They've got cutters coming off the pick and roll options.
That overtime game you mentioned when they lost, Iceland caused a lot of turnovers by trying to play them a little quick.
Yeah, they're 20-plus turnovers in there. A bit too many.
And Great Britain playing them a little bit passively in the half court, but early days, 7:34 to go in the first. And
yeah, we've got a long time of the game.
Yeah.
We're only a few minutes in now. Calm down,
yeah.
all right?
But that's a great start for the Ukraine. They've got to the free throw line. They lead this one 7-2.
Yeah, they're doing a bit of everything. Shot the three, got to the rim, free throw line.
Carl Weedle gets it to Nelson in the half. The option of giving Nelson the ball right there, he pulls up for the three, is a good one. He knocks it down for three, relieves him of the pressure of advancing the ball.
Yeah, and coming off that screen with his feet set, he's nothing but net in that.
Ziznik outside, puts it on the floor. Looking for his own, doesn't get it. Lukashov off the screen to the corner, wide open. In the book for three, no one got a hand up at all. And Mihailuk gets the three, and wow, you don't leave the NBA guy wide open in the corner.
No, and now he's instant offense there too.
Reaching foul on Lukashov. Nice option for Great Britain to get Nelson, getting in down the floor. They have to take it there, same place, gets a foul this time.
Yep. And why fix it if it's not broke?
Exactly.
Go right back at it.
Great Britain will inbound. Olaseni is the release. Nelson in the half court. Going to get Mockford here off a stagger. Defense slides through. Nelson just attacks the hoop. Great decision for two. Pushev the other way. 2-on-1 break. That goes up off the glass. No moment to stop and celebrate. Ball's out of bounds, and Carl Weeder looks a little hesitant. He's going to get himself going a little bit. Looks.
Yeah, let the game come to him.
Yep.
You know, just relax. Don't overdo it. But that was a good transition break here for Ukraine. And to finish that low in that replay, really good finish by him.
Olaseni is the release again. A little deflection. And you judge sometimes your defense by deflections, and Ukraine getting a lot of touches. Hessen takes a tough one and is blocked.
Yeah.
Lukashov drops it in low. Alex Len faces up, thinks about the jumper, gets to the middle and kicks. Lushnag outside, comes off the ball screen. Len's going to take the mid-range little jump hook, shovels it up for 2.
Yeah, and then when you're that deep, we've got to get him out. Great Britain's got to push him out of that comfort zone for him.
Nelson off the ball screen again, gets a little separation. Weedle off the ball screen, stops, fires up the 2, is no good. It's a tough one. Mihailuk into the half. Oh, they just drop another 3, and Great Britain are going to have to take the early timeout as Ukraine open a 17-7 lead. And looks sweet and in rhythm.
And Mihailuk here, look at this. Lovely height, beautiful follow through. And that's too easy. You've got to pick him up early. And Great Britain want to have a timeout. We'll see that replay of that beautiful shot. We'll have a timeout, we'll listen in, and we'll be right back.
Oh? Hey, you got me, huh? The ball's getting a little sticky early, all right? Everyone's trying to get a feel, everyone's trying to get a shot up, I like it, all right? But now let's start playing together better, all right? The other thing is they're running, all right? We got to get back, make or miss, you have to get back and load up on the ball and find somebody. All right, Luke, bring it down the side. Obi, set this. We're looking Carl right here. Zip up, Miles, reverse it. And now Obi, Gabe, you set this baseline screen for Luke right there. All right, okay?
Well, I think that's a fair point by Nate.
Yeah.
Make or miss, Ukraine is pushing it in transition, and I think that's where they work well as well.
Well, the 2 games that the Ukraine had in qualification, Italy struggled for a half. They couldn't slow them down, then found a way to do it. And the same, but Iceland just decided, we're not going to give you anything easy. Go past us, play on the dribble, try and make something happen, and just play a little bit quick. They're getting what they want.
Yeah.
And they, by that, Mihailuk struggled from the perimeter. 0 for 7 in the game against Italy and in one of the prep games. So it's the recipe for success is there for Great Britain. They've just got to share the basketball and execute it. Luke Nelson on the baseline screen. Olaseni will come out and ball screen and rolls. Really gets the needed it, gets it, blows the 2-footer. Is going to have another chance. Goes back up, is fouled. It was almost, he looked surprised he got the pass.
Yeah. But Nelson is always going to find him in this role.
Yeah.
So he just needs to be ready, but way to stick with it.
Yep.
And put the pressure on the referees to call that foul. And especially when a timeout like that has been called to stop the bleeding, that's exactly what you want coming out of the timeout.
And literally ran exactly what Coach Ranking asked him to do.
Sure.
Share the ball, swing it, get the pick and roll action. And Olaseni misses the 2-footer. Unfortunately, misses the first of the free throws, but normally solid from the line. Makes the second. And Great Britain do stop the bleeding, as you say. Trail by 9, 17-8. Gets it into the half court. Lucas shove off the screen, stops and pops the 3. Doesn't get it to drop. Nelson has a chance to run for Great Britain. And teams had success against this Ukrainian team if they ran and got good options. Ovisoko in the game, puts it on the floor, wants to be aggressive. Nelson, baseline, reverse layup, takes a tough one. Olaseni cleans up the mess on the glass. No reset because he didn't hit the ring. Hassan with the 3 is no good. And no blue shirt in the keyway, and Lukashov brings the basketball. Heron, that's a tough matchup for Hessen if he gets Heron in the half court. And Great Britain, we talked about Great Britain being a bit smaller, being a bit quicker. This is a definite small ball lineup on the floor right now.
Yeah, and with Len on the floor, we haven't seen Pestrova yet. He's 7'1". This is a big lineup for Ukraine.
Yep.
So Great Britain have to be physical. They have to hit them early and often.
As we said a moment ago, you know, Iceland, they have 1 or 2 bigs, but nothing of the regular size of the Ukraine. Nice pass to the open man on the skip. The open 3 is off. Luke is gone to Great Britain. Len was on the glass, really. You'd have backed him to get that rebound. He had a good spot. And right on call, here's your man. The one player who played against Great Britain all those years ago in 2013. Tem Pustovi. who seems to go on forever.
Yes. Very, very tall, standing at 7'1". I think maybe a little bit taller.
Hessen looking down low. Obisoko got to go to work right now. Catch and be aggressive. Little flip pass to Olaseni. This is the mid-range jump shot. And that's Olaseni's bread and butter. The hair look. Oh.
And that's Herr Luke's bread and butter. They went under the screen there, Mark, and he's going to make you pay every single time.
Got to question the decision to go under. Weedle penetrates. Olaseni's, they're going to offer him the three-point option. Nelson gets his feet set to try and answer, and does.
Bang.
Nelson in rhythm. Him and Herr look like they're feeling it right now.
Yeah, three-point competition for sure between those two.
So,
Could have been
away
a
with a little
trouble.
walk. 3 out of the penetrations go good. Olaseni picks it up. Shchenko couldn't make the 3. Hessen in transition. Stops, goes inside, holding foul on the break.
That's on Lukashov. He had no choice there. But here we go, look. Miscommunication goes under the screen. Listen, it's going to be a long day if that's how you're going to guard that.
Absolutely. And the same thing going the other way, because you know, there's no one helping on that screen, and that's twice now. Nelson's come up open with a 3, so both coaches have got to make some decisions. Dan Clark checks in for Olaseni. Hessen is the inbound entry, goes strong to the ring, and all he finds is Artem Pestovi, and Pestovi runs the ring. And meanwhile, the ball's brought down the floor. When you're a big Azania, don't you look back and say, where are you?
Hey, pass me the ball, I'm running. You're not going to get many of those. But good to see Pestovi running hard.
Stop, the pop is no good. Hessen pulls in the defensive rebound.
Big rebound.
Zoltov
there.
Zoltov announces himself in the game with a quick release. And Van Oostrum checks in. Clark on the pick and pop, looking inside. Obisoko needs. Ball's deflected. They're going to give it to Ukraine. Maybe change the angle on that one, do you think? Or has Obisoko got to hold his space a little better?
No, I think maybe change the angle a little bit. But that's a good look, especially like he talks about Obisoko. He is dominant and he hasn't really got himself going yet. So good look, but it's a turnover, and now they've got to get a good defensive stop.
So Nelson and Van Oostrum in the backcourt for Great Britain. Sanon checks in for the Ukraine, forces a little bit, pops it. Bobrov goes back to Sanon, little 2-man game on the sideline here. Ball comes off the feet of Obisoko, I think.
There's 3.6 here, so Ukraine need to get something up.
This goes to show, though, that that time Great Britain didn't get beat.
Solid defense.
Solid, and forced Ukraine to play in front of them.
Yep.
Didn't get a look, but obviously the man's not in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
but also, Great Britain here just need to focus in. 3 seconds, no shot, and a rebound.
Sit up is long, get the rebound. Hessen has a chance to run. Needs numbers down the floor. A little behind the back, feels a lot of yellow vests. And Obisoko gets it, goes back up. Hessen stays at home. Clark on the perimeter. Finds Obisoko mid-range, which is where he earns his living. Nice move to the far side. Great little pass, and Hessen can't handle that, and he goes off the knee. But I've got to say, the sharing of the basketball is a great sign for Great Britain.
Maybe a little too much, Mark, in my opinion.
I wouldn't disagree.
Sharing's caring, but right here, I think right there, you're right under the basket, put it up.
And Obisoko needs to score because that's what Great Britain need. Shannon gets challenged by Clark, can't get it to drop. And again, a better defensive series. Clark on the pick and pop, perhaps needs to look at the ring. Hessen puts it on the floor, big second step and kick. Obisoko outside, moves it on. Hessen down low with Shannon with size, is blocked.
Yeah.
And you got the rotation was quick and early from the Ukraine.
They have numbers here. 5 and 4.
Shannon with a layup. Got to pick yourself up off the floor and get back, I think is the phrase.
Yep, immediately.
22-11. It's a bit deja vu for me. The last time I covered Ukraine, they had this type of start against Italy. Looked really impressive. Obisoko handles it this time, goes up, is fouled, and one. And right on cue, just shows why you were disappointed he passed it off. Similar situation to before, went up, great control, soft touch, what you needed him to do before.
Yeah, good finish there. And that was the highlight of Ukraine 5-on-4.
Obisoko on the free throw line, chance to make this an 8-point game. 53 seconds remain in the first quarter. Way short on the free throw.
Free throws are going to be a big thing for me, Mark, especially just to tick over the scoreboard when you're struggling. You know, they've missed, what, 2 free throws now?
Sanon feet set, no one guarding him, comes up short. That's work on the glass by Obisoko, gets hit from both sides. But the foul is called on Bobrov. There you see, great work by the cameraman, right on the money on that. You know, all over the back of Obisoko.
Yeah. Talking about cameramen, there's 14 cameras. Mark, we have a lovely setup here, so all angles should be covered. Maybe we'll get her a little, you know, beauty shot.
which means I won't be on it, right?
Yeah, maybe not.
Obisoko, free throw line, makes it now. He's had his sider, now he's back in the rhythm.
Yep.
And the groove.
And sometimes it's just nice to see the ball go through the rim, you know. He's missed the first couple. And also maybe Great Britain needs to see they're bringing the double, so now dump it off. They're going up against 7-footers. This is tough now. They're getting squeezed, sandwiched. They maybe might need to drive and kick or, you know,
I think so.
dish.
Once you've drawn the whole defense in, you've got to. Great Britain shoot the 3 ball, one of the best in the World Cup qualifiers in Europe, like over 30, around 37%. So they should be comfortable out there. Had a great game against Latvia. Sanon again, who is Pastovi, comes up short. Obisoko and Van Oostrum work it out. Who's going to advance it? About a 2-second differential between game and possession clock. Van Oostrum will hold. This should be the last shot of the first quarter. Be a great time for Great Britain. Van Oostrum slices it. Eloseni outside, nails the mid-range jump shot. That's not the scouting report. Sanon's going to try and put this up. One stepper from outside the 3 is long. And Great Britain have salvaged the first quarter where Ukraine came out hot, but have dragged themselves back into the game. Ukraine have the advantage at the end of 1. They have the lead, 22-17. A lot of good things both ways. Going to get a look at the stats.
Yeah, and Great Britain, like you said, just dug in right there and just stuck with it. Ukraine came out doing everything really well, in my opinion, shooting the 3, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line, but Great Britain just was gritty in there. We see getting to the line, what we spoke about, 2-point shot, 50%. This is a new kind of graphic. This is quite cool, isn't it?
Let's say 42% from the field.
Yeah.
We'd love to see the 3-point percentage because the Ukraine's numbers would be good. And they're going to get a chance to see some of those best plays of the first quarter.
Well, it was both. If I'm in this, I guess, timeout or speaking right here, both teams, I'm talking about the pick and roll or the switch between the 2 players, because both teams have gone under and both teams have hit the 3 as there we see it on the highlight reel. I'm talking about what are we doing now? Are we switching? Are we staying? Because these Maherluk, if he gets his feet set as he's shown here, bang, gets it up. That's too easy for me.
And I think you're absolutely right. Both teams shoot the 3 ball really well, or have the potential to shoot the 3 ball really well, unless you do chase them off the line. Ukraine just zone the pick and roll. There's this massive space for whoever it is, but they have to because their 4s and 5s are so big, and it's hard for them to get their feet out the keyway.
Yeah.
But Great Britain will have possession of the basketball as we get the look at the courtside 1891 app. You want to find out anything about what's going on in world basketball, get that QR code downloaded onto your smartphone, and you are going to be up to speed with everything you need to be up to speed with. Whelan will inbound the ball. Devon Van Oostrum, who didn't play a minute against Latvia, stepping in here, takes care of it just about. Needs a pass, gets a pass. Obisoko relieves the pressure. He wipes off Mockford, stops and pops. Doesn't get it to go. Olaseni cleans up the mess. Mockford, little mishandle, nice pass. Olaseni can't handle it, and they turn it over.
like sweaty hands or just,
yeah,
just mishandling the ball.
Wide open for threes. Zoltov doesn't get it to drop. Olaseni again, he's like a rebound magnet at the moment. Early pass. Whelan puts it on the floor, needs to kick. Van Oostrum thought about it. Great decision. Yep. Olaseni draws contact down low, and the ball didn't stick. Coach Ranking talks about it was getting sticky. That was slick.
That was very slick and fantastic work by Olaseni, just working very, very hard under the rim. And when you seal that low, good things happen. They get it into him and he calls a foul.
Obisoko will inbound the basketball. And Olaseni, 0-0.
0-0.
Van Oostrum outside. Will get Mockford. Drops it into Olaseni, and he has it knocked away by Pestovi.
Yeah, I think his hands are pretty sweaty because that's not like him. He's slipping out of his hand. He's not being slick with the ball. But
Mockford, like Senon and people like that, are scorers. You'd expect him to go so. Pestovi just gets position. And there's only one thing going to happen right now. Goes up, finishes the play. Looks at the official, but didn't see anything wrong with it defensively. No. Great play by him.
Yeah, wonderful play by him. Great post player.
Obisoko releases and reverses. Got a whistle on the play. That's another hold, and that'll be the second team foul early. Bob Rob doesn't like the call, but very easy call for the official when the player wraps. There you go. Palm of the hands is always a giveaway.
Referees all over it. They're a team as well, Mark. So
Absolutely.
Are we.
Yep.
So are they. They're on point.
Olaseni will be the release again, because Pustovi and Heron and Len are just not going to guard him out there. Nelson penetrates, kick. Obisoko thinks about the three, gets to the foul line. Swings it.
2 on the clock.
Got to put it up. Nelson's going to have to step through, throws up a prayer that's not answered.
Yeah, maybe Obisoko should have shot that a couple possessions before in the rhythm and not left Luke Nelson out to dry there. And also that's the bench, right? 10-9-8, you guys got to be screaming and shouting to let your teammates know.
In the half court, Riznyuk faces up on Van Oostrum. Sanon, who's not going to be shy at shooting the ball, comes off the down screen, steps back. He's a volume shooter.
And Great Britain's lucky for him to miss that.
Mockford can't make the three. That's what he's there to do, shoot the open look.
Both teams haven't figured out that screen at the top because Sanon's wide open. That's a foul.
Interested to see how they call this. We don't see it on this angle. It's out of picture. Foul was on Obisoko, but the off-ball foul. Obisoko acknowledges it. 7:55 to go in the second.
That's Obi's first.
Yeah, picked up a little foul trouble in the last World Cup qualifier, as did Bob Ruff, and he's on 2 for Ukraine. They go long, always the option in doubt, just throw it up. Pestovi will collect the inbound. Here, look, gets to the inside and kicks. Gets it back, gets his feet set for 3. Van Oostrum worked so hard, but most importantly had inside position. Great box out by Van Oostrum for Great Britain.
Yeah, and gets rewarded for that hard work.
Olaseni's outside, moves it on. Mockford drops it into Obisoko. The ball's not sticking. Van Oostrum on a stop and pop, doesn't get it to go. Just needed to get a little bit more set. Here, look. Will advance the ball, goes behind the back. Obisoko shows and picks up his second foul and picks up a quick one. And he's already walking to the bench.
And that, for me, you've got to be smart. You're one of the best players for Great Britain. You can't pick up the second foul here with 7 minutes left in this second quarter, excuse me. Puts pressure, and the coach does the right thing and gets us up.
And it's like if you don't help decisively, you find yourself that space that gives the offensive player the space to play. And he was a little indecisive about helping.
Yeah.
Then comes up a pretty soft foul. Mahela comes off the ball screen. They find it, but they're down the lane. Great help by Nelson, and Olaseni's all over it, and that's a much better series in terms of filling the middle on the roll.
And good help defense. Look, the roll wide open, and Nelson just gets in there. Great defense by him.
Yeah, had to get there from that side. Olaseni couldn't step across until Nelson slowed him down. End line possession, 10 on the clock. Olaseni comes up, but still 2-on-1. I don't think he's led the break in his career. Hessen for 2 is good. Write that one down. Gave Olaseni 2-on-1 with a dribble.
Yeah. He stays in his lane, Mark. He doesn't do...
And Len is just too good. Found a hole under the foul line, and Great Britain's defense asleep, but great recognition. Lukashov does a marvelous job decision-making. Hessen stops and fires for 3 as long. Trying to find something. No rhythm yet for Hessen. And Ukraine back out to a 7-point lead with the basketball. Chance to make it a double-digit lead. Heron again on the inside. Gets away with a hook. Goes up with a reverse layup. Nice finish.
Really nice finish. Uses the rim to protect himself.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to ask for Miles to defend down low.
Luke Nelson, foul line push. Should have possibly stopped and popped it. Tried to navigate a different one.
3-on-1.
Here, Luke goes up off the glass. Doesn't get it. And Great Britain get out. Works again. And that man, Denis Lukashov, does all the blue-collar stuff for the Ukraine. Gets the offensive rebound because he worked harder than anyone else on the floor. Gets the inside position, strong enough to power up. And good things happen to people who outwork their opponent.
Yeah. That was 3-on-1 there. Great Britain doesn't get back. Ben Mockford not really happy, but he didn't put a body on anyone, so it's the right call. Maybe, maybe not.
Well, and the crazy scenario for Great Britain is Luke Nelson shot the ball from below the foul line. No one moved.
Yeah.
You know? Nelson on the down screen gets Hessen. That's almost a shot you'd like him to take, right? In rhythm. Weedle on the dribble finds Hessen again. Puts it on the floor. Mockford gets to the lane. He stops and pops a tough one, and he's short. Well, you have the phrase "stay in your lane," and I think Great Britain. That should be a foul called on Olaseni, and the call was late, but I think the call was correct.
I think I heard the slap from here too.
Wow. Maybe the slap was on the ball.
Yeah.
It looked a foul from where we're sitting. Anderson checks in for Mockford. See, the thing is, while we're on the free throw line, is there, Great Britain are a team with 1 or 2 people who can post, but they're largely a team who stretches the floor and shoots the ball.
Yep.
And if Miles Hessen misses a couple of shots, hey ho. But if he's not going to shoot it, that takes so much away. And the same with Luke Nelson. If that's what you got to back what you've got.
Yeah, and Miles has had a massive 3 to win them a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games, so why not shoot it?
Back yourself.
Back yourself. There it is, Mark. He hasn't shot one yet. I think he's just a little bit out of rhythm, in my opinion. He's second guessing. Get it in flow, catch it in rhythm, and let one roll.
Well, shooters don't become bad shooters overnight, do they? If you're a shooter, you're a shooter. And Hessen will hand it off to Nelson, who started really well for Great Britain. He finds
there it is.
Wide open, knocks it down.
Hey, he heard us from here, Mark.
Hey. That's an assist to Stewart.
Thank you.
There's Lukashov, if they let Lukashov handle the ball, he just impresses me the way he just controls things for Ukraine. Great rip through, great recovery though by Weedle. Bluzhnuk was thinking points, Weedle steals it. Weedle has it, moves it on. Nelson, no help, attacks it off the left hand, gets the 2. And that's what a team that shoots the ball does to the defense. It drags the help out, and then you make that decision, and you go into the hoop. Timeout for the Ukraine. Coach Bagatskis doesn't like the last couple of plays as we see Weedle with the defensive work.
Yeah, Weedle not giving up on that play, and then here, long lean to the rim. Nelson, and Great Britain has forced Ukraine to call a timeout. We'll listen in.
I think it's something we're going to see throughout. Let's take a listen to Coach Bagatskis and talk about it after.
Okay. First, second, third. When he makes a dribble, that's totally different. Going just right side. Если прибежали, предыдущий transition, Alex was in a post pass there. That's like an automatically transform for a 5 side. From 5 up to... Дай. Если нет, успокой. играем 42. Если как транзишн есть ясно, up or side.
Пацаны, надо бежать, они плохо возвращаются, даже после
Главное,
забега.
выполнить, не надеяться, что они что-то промажут в защите. Давай, давай, давай.
Пацаны, давай.
That was really nice, a nice mix of English. Ukrainian coach, a little mix of both. He is Latvian.
Bit of Latvian,
Yeah.
bit of Ukrainian,
Yeah.
and a bit of
English,
I'm
so-
impressed. He could be the worst coach in the world. He's not. He's a very good coach, but speaking 3 languages and in a minute,
Yeah.
impresses me.
And there's the rebounding, 19 to Ukraine, 17 to Great Britain, doing a good job. And then the 2-point land, Ukraine doing a fantastic job, shooting 57%.
The other side of that stat, 27% from 2. You know,
Yeah.
it's Great Britain. It's not hard to see how Great Britain get back in this game with 5 to go in the half. Just make some open shots. Here's Nuk outside. They've got to play Len a bit more honestly than this. Heron in the block, tries to go to work, has advantage. Lukashov on the closeout, goes with a floater for 2, doesn't get the drop. And again, they make them play on the dribble and make them make a play, and Ukraine come up short. Here's Nelson, chance to make this a 6-point game. Miles Hessen made his last 3. Anderson drops it to the corner. Hessen going baseline. Reverse layup is blocked. I think the script was the crowd were already taking the intake of breath because the big boy just followed him.
Yeah, this is a tough block here. Tried to use the reverse and protect himself by the rim, but just long and very lean, and volleyballed,
But
blocked that
Nelson's
Len.
wide open in
Yeah,
the corner.
yeah. Draw, kick.
Yep. And Nelson's shooting the ball really well. Now he's got 5. Nelson wants this, stops, fires up the 3, is long. Olaseni keeps it alive. Weedle hunts it down. Lines up and fires up the 3. Well, he worked hard enough to get the offensive rebound.
Yeah,
Great Britain close it to
and,
a 6-point game.
Sorry, and nobody ran out to Weedle there for Ukraine, so why not?
Alex Lane goes with a jump hook, automatic. Let him go to the inside. He has too much time and space, and he is looking what he is, an NBA big man at the moment.
Yeah, and a beautiful touch around the rim.
Hessen, mid-range, off the glass. Olaseni tries to keep it alive. Weedle works again. Anderson, ball fake, steps into the shot, and is short. And Lane comes down with the defensive rebound. Here they go again on transition. Bliznyuk into the far side of the ring for 2. And they are good if you don't stop and slow them down.
Yeah, beautiful move by Bliznyuk. Get it on the floor and get to the other side. Hard to defend.
Hessen outside. Back to a 10-point game. Great Britain have closed it to 6 and 5 and 3, and then have lost it again.
Good hustle there by Weedle, but Great Britain won a timeout. I think that's a great timeout. Just 10 points. They're cutting it down and then just making a few small errors. But
Going to get it here right off the foot of the screener.
Yeah.
Well, we said before the game, to get the wing, Great Britain might need a few breaks. That's not a break we were talking about.
And at this level, any small errors, the other team are going to make you pay, so we'll listen into the timeout.
Dennis, if you forget about box out, just attack your own way and take the rebound.
Let's try and get the ball from one side to the other. We talked about it, we did it for one game, it fucking worked, and then today we've gotten back into that first shot. Like, no one's going to get a rhythm if you just take the first fucking thing that's open, because they're long.
Hey, and on the offensive rebounds, all right, great threes.
Obviously, timeouts are pretty emotional places, so if there's language that offends, obviously apologies.
Go underneath here, but come higher.
But as the Zany will know, and I know, when you're in those huddles in a EuroBasket game, your emotion's pretty high. You just speak what you think.
And you can't be offended, right? Well, our audience, we apologize, but when you're in that timeout, you have a few seconds, moments to get exactly what you want across. So Great Britain have had their timeout, and they had a good, the last timeout they drew up a nice play, they executed it. Len with 11 points, 4 from 4. Lovely post play around the rim. Soft touch, and he's shot a 3-point shot as well, actually. He's shown his full repertoire of offense.
Well, the Ovid Soko interjection to the timeout, he was absolutely spot on. You know, if they move the ball and get the ball to people in rhythm like that off the ball screen, they're going to get shots. If people throw up the first shot that comes their way, No one's getting into any rhythm. Now they just have to get down here at the defensive end. Nelson again drags it back to a single-digit game, and that psychological number is so important. Hey, here, look, outside, puts it on the floor, looks to try and create a little separation. Anderson stays down and does a great job defensively, and forces it to miss, but they don't box out, and Heron, who we talked about before the game, just does that blue-collar stuff on the glass, but doesn't get boxed out, and the Ukraine outworking GB again.
Yeah, really could have been a foul, but at the first shot, sorry. But yeah, he's a blue-collar, isn't he? He works very, very hard. And that puts Miles, just okay, only second foul.
Great Britain into the penalty with 2:30 to go. Obisoko's back with 2 fouls. Hessen steps out with 2 fouls. And let's hope Obisoko doesn't pick up a foul in the last 2.5 minutes, but the intent of what he said during the timeout would be the right thing to say in any team, any timeout. You know, stay, as you describe it, stay in your lane, do what you're good at, do it in the rhythm of what we're trying to run, especially in the first 2/3 of the clock.
Yeah, and they've been very successful down here when they stay to that style of basketball. Yeah.
10-point game, 2:30 to go. Great Britain would love to go in single digits. Ukraine would love to eke out a 15-point halftime lead, which is going to be so difficult to come back to. Olaseni in the lane, drops it inside. Obisoko can't get his first away, gets blocked. Stays with it, goes reverse and throws the little hook. Beautiful finish. Great composure under the ring.
Good composure, exactly what I was going to say. Good patience and way to stick with it.
Shooting outside, drops it inside. Elon has it again. He's a handful down there. Nelson gets a piece of the first one, but Lukashov saves it. 8 on the possession, Bislett down the middle. There, look, goes down low. Heron. Well, if you needed an example of how to share it to get an open one, 5 guys could have shot the ball there, and they just moved it and ended up with 2-footer. Great work by Ukraine.
Sensational basketball. All 5 players touched the ball.
Wheatle outside will take the ball screen, moves it on. That's going to be an offensive foul.
It's a first ball for Great Britain, number 0, Gabriel Olaseni.
And that's his second. Look at this. Nice movement. Turned down a good shot for a better shot.
Yeah. And you're a 3-point shooter that hasn't missed yet, or you've missed 1, and you still turn down the shot because your teammate is open.
Yep.
And you know, we use the phrase a lot. It really is about, like, we as Ukraine are going to get the shots we need.
Yeah, they're playing great team basketball.
Then on the inside, goes to that jump hook again. This time, doesn't get the touch. Nelson gets a little contact, knocks it out of bounds, looks longingly at the official. Wants to know, but I always have this big thing, if you box out first, the referee will give you that. If it's just a jumping competition, that's just battle for it. Here's Zotov. A lot of dribble. Looks at his options there. Look, Anderson's done a nice job since he's come into the game. If they go underneath and they expose Obisoko to the 3-point shooter, does a great job. Weedle on the floor, on the dribble, tries to lob it. That's
too late.
And a poor pass, but then Mihalik does a great job holding his space.
Yeah, you got to throw that to the rim.
Mihalik, hesitation, gets to the ring. And Obisoko, everyone thinks it should be a Great Britain basketball, but the referee doesn't, so.
Yeah, for me, sorry, just see this highlight. Ooh.
It should be a Great Britain ball.
Should be.
Yep.
So Great Britain have decided to go under the screen, it looks like, obviously.
Or switch it.
Yeah.
That's okay when it's Obisoko or someone a little quick to step out.
Yep.
Zotov, they leave him for the 3. He can't make it.
Good rebound.
Cavell Bigby Williams, who's joined the game, gets his first positive stat. And Obisoko with a mismatch here. And they're going to reach at him. They've got fouls to give the Ukraine. Obisoko tries to drop it inside. Takes the turnaround hook. Bigby Williams keeps it alive. And Great Britain are going to Get the 24 violation. The referee had already blown the whistle, so.
Yeah, Obi Soko just shaking his head. I feel like he's getting a little maybe frustrated, but this is tough. You brought the double, and still, I think you've done your job there. Do you know what I mean? You brought the double team, now get it out. I don't think you forced the shot there. I think you've done a fantastic job. They obviously have done their scout and are worried about you. Have brought the double, now found the open man. We're listening to the, well, the coaches are having a little chat, so we'll have one too.
Well, and the other thing, though, I agree with you 100%, always inside, outside. No outside option. Everyone stood still and looked at it.
Yeah.
And that's what Obi Soko was saying. If people aren't used to moving, you're not passing, you're not going to move.
Артем, ты выбрасываешь, ты получаешь мяч. Идешь, у нас 10 секунд. Агрессивно идешь. Svi, you are in one corner. Ваня, other one. И ты потом читай ситуацию, идешь, и ты супер. Идеально, если ты получил здесь, идешь, Артем. Ты сначала помоги им выбросить, чтобы сначала он получил мяч. Идете вдвоем вместе. Вот здесь.
I think that's a great timeout by Ukraine. Why not use it, as we see Mihailuk absolutely draining it. We spoke about him. He hadn't been shooting a great clip in the last couple of games, but definitely has found his rhythm, and I spoke about him at the beginning of the game that I would like to see him get himself going and established early, and I guess he heard me again, Mark. Should be a coach, a referee, player, commentator, you name it, I got it.
It's a big 11.8 seconds here, because there's a lot of difference between going in 12 or 13 up and 10.
Yeah.
And delay it, try and force him, send on his instant offense. If he passes it, it's going to be an assist. But he's just going, there you go, Artem on the roll. As coach calls, great hands by Carl Wheatle. He saved and bailed out Great Britain, and they get to the half, down 10 to a really impressive Ukrainian team in that first half. Pustovi talks to the official about what he thought was the foul. But in the end of the day, I think the officials have been pretty consistent both ways. Here's the confirmation. Ukraine have a 42-32 lead over Great Britain at the half. All to play for in the second half. We're going to get some stats in a moment.
Yeah, and great finish there by Carl Wheatle to not give up on that play, because when the ball goes into Pustrovi, he is nothing but instant offense. So good hustle and ways to keep the score under 10. Great Britain shooting 32% from the field. Maybe if they could just break back into that, 45% from the three-point line. Not bad, and they're beating them on the rebounding board, 26-22, and block shots. Ukraine have definitely won that. Len, we spoke about, big post player, beautiful finish around the edge, and then Luke Nelson has definitely shot the three-point ball very, very well. So what do we do? What do they speak about at the halftime, Mark?
Well, I think the issue you've got here is that at the end of the day, is we're going to see the first half plays, and what we're going to see is Ukraine getting more shots that they want.
Yes.
And Great Britain having to go at times, and they got punished for it as well, going the other way, taking shots that perhaps players wanted to take.
Yeah.
It was almost, you got the impression at times, oh, it's my turn, I haven't had a shot, I'm going to take one. And then you see the three-point numbers that you pointed out. We said in the commentary, Great Britain, a team that wants to shoot the basketball, shooting 45% in the three, not taking enough open looks.
And you know what? I think Ukraine have done a fantastic job in everyone on court, touching the ball, feeling it, running the offense, getting turning down a good-looking shot. For a better shot, we saw that. So I think they've done a great job in their style of basketball. They've done very, very well. But Great Britain is sticking around. They've managed to stay within 10 points. That could have been blown out by way more. So good job by Ukraine. I've really enjoyed their style.
And Len, who's had a really difficult, he's only joined the team for the World Cup qualifiers, hadn't played in the Euro qualifiers. Only averaging about 15 to 17 minutes because he wasn't really in the rhythm. Just goes to show about the preparation side of things, because he's come here looking like they've built the whole team around his inside play. And he's not disappointed. Into the middle, he's only missed one shot on that little jump hook. He's been effective, made the three, and has really played like a big man.
Well, I think tournaments like this, and definitely how it's structured now, there's such short little time to prepare. So you really have to key in and hone in at what are we successful at, what are we good at, where can we get our easy shots from. And that's what Ukraine have really done. He's a big man, he's successful, he has a good touch. The guards, Mihailuk and Zhudov have done a really good job as well. So in short preparation time, you've got to get it done.
Okay then, well, we're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere, get a drink, be ready for the second half. We'll see you shortly for what promises to be a close one.
Who will you become when the moment arrives and you're carrying the expectations of an entire nation, representing your people and their dreams, the colorful faces in the streets, the screaming fans in the stands? It's time to make your move. All eyes on you, all hope, all heart. Because when you win for all.
Nash trying to step in, puts it up, gives Turkey a 1-point lead. Wow, Korkmaz.
And now a turnover. Here comes Voivoda. And Hunga slides in for the dunk. And that's about the only, you talk about Hungary needing something, get turnovers and points. Germany, but now they get a steal. Wagner, 3-on-1 break, takes it all the way. It gets blocked by Yabusele. The great hustle from the man wearing the white headband.
1-3 now makes the penetration by Schengen. In the lane! Wow! Goodness gracious! Give this man some credit.
Long arena. Open floor, 3-on-1 break, low. Oh, look at me. Look at that! How do you like me now? And Maldo low, just sensational stuff. Giving it over to Dennis, the menace.
Now we see Doncic in the post.
Uh-oh, he goes around! And he throws it down on Iggy!
Again, I would love to see Slovenia do that more. He can post up every player on this court.
And the handoff to Big JB!
Beautiful, beautiful play. Again, you love to see the post players cooperate like that. Great drop off from Sabonis and
Doncic turns it over. Kuzminskis hustles down the floor, gets rejected by Chanchar.
What a block from Chanchar.
Incredible rim protection, and then he finds it in, and he scores, and he's fouled. It's the play of the game. Vlatko Chanchar.
Both ends, amazing. Fantastic block, and then to run the floor and be able to finish strong. Beautiful.
Now, big shot, three, got it! Inside three-pointer! Jonathan Taboo silences his crowd in overtime. I mean, look at this one. Monsieur Taboo, s'il vous plaît. Well, another three. Have him, pump it. Have him all the way. Oh, baby! Jaime, sweet Obisa, Sabrisi. Unbelievable. Are you serious?
What a play! Unreal by Manu Kalashvili, who scored for the slam.
welcome back to Milan. Luke Nelson leads the scorers for Great Britain, 5 from 10 from the field. And when he gets his feet set, Luke Nelson has looked very, very, very impressive for the Great Britain national team. Gets to the ring really well, has got that great lean, plays really well from beyond the arc, and has done an excellent job for his country, and pretty much has been the consistent factor that has kept them within touching distance of the Ukraine.
Yeah, he has 13 points and 2 assists, and played 17 minutes.
Yeah, he's going to have to play 17 more, I think.
Yeah, Great Britain are out. Coming to warm up, and then the top player we've already spoken about this. Post player Alex Len, 11 points, 4 from 5, 80%, and 2 rebounds. A handful, very, very big down low, great touch.
But always going the same way. Always goes to the right, always goes to the middle, goes over his left shoulder. Great finish, and they let him go to the middle. And Olaseni, in particular, playing in the Turkish league, would have had to have dealt with lots of big guys forcing into areas of the floor. But unless Great Britain has said, "Oh, we want to force it middle," well, that's a coaching decision that you live with. But 4 from 5 tells you it's not the best option in the world at the moment.
Right. Yeah, well, he leads all scorers, and he can also stretch the floor there, shoots the 3-point shot. And that was his first shot of the day.
Yeah, and he's looked what he is, which is an NBA player. That his numbers in the NBA are not, it's 16 minutes a game, 6 points, 4 rebounds. He's, pretty much what he was getting. He's only averaging 15 minutes a game, 6 points in the World Cup qualifiers coming in here. He's looked, by comparison to that, he's looked all world.
Yeah, and the 3-point line is a little closer to FIBA.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I'm shooting it too. Why not?
So interesting to see though how they weren't a second half team in the World Cup qualifiers, the Ukraine. They led comfortably over Italy, big margin. They played that game in Latvia, and then they went to Iceland and led at the half there. So both those countries, Iceland and Italy, made adjustments in the hard time. So it's the option is there for Great Britain to come up with, and most of it was down to how well they played defensively, and then they turned stops into points.
Yeah, and we said that Ukraine had a fair few turnovers. They had 20+ turnovers. And so maybe you can learn from that, right? Yeah. In those games that you lose, you have to take moments and lessons, because I spoke about it before the break, is you don't have a lot of time together, and you've got to learn on the fly. Yeah. And Ukraine, okay, you're disappointed, now where can we learn? Hey, we're up 10, can we establish a bigger lead? Can we really put our foot down and get this win? But Great Britain are sticking around, they're down, and I think they've been solid, Great Britain. I think they could do a little bit better. The driving, they're big, they're tall, they're lean. For Great Britain to drive and kick, they're shooting a good clip from the 3-point line. And this is a big game for both of these teams. Both of these teams need this win.
I mean, the other part of that argument or the debate is, well, the Ukraine have had the experience of not coming out in the third quarter ready to play, so you know that they're going to be talking about that in the locker room.
Yeah.
And Baghdadi says, all right, okay, where am I going to go to get shots that I'm going to have a better percentage chance of making? So I'd expect Mihalik to get a look. I'd expect Lin to get a look. And Heron and the way they share the ball. And, Lukashov's going to take control. Maybe he won't rotate as often as he has done in the World Cup qualifiers, where he almost played like a platoon coach, 5 in, rotating them out really quickly, so you got almost a different 5 in. Yeah. So it's tough to play that way. But Lem with 4, Lukashev with 4 assists. And, as we said, Heron, he's almost a forgotten man because he's not the NBA guy.
Yeah, but he's working hard.
Absolutely.
Whoa, he's working hard for his money. But also those lessons are usually months apart with national team windows, November, February. That was only last week. Obviously, This is the EuroBasket, the qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers was last week. And then this week, you turn back round and you've got the EuroBasket. That doesn't happen often. And so those lessons were only a week ago instead of months. So no doubt Ukraine would have been in that locker room at halftime. Listen, boys, we let ourselves down those 2 games. We're in a chance here to win this game. Let's come back out and be solid. I think as a team, as a unit, they've done very well.
And you highlighted, while we're looking at the guys getting ready for the second half, you highlighted both teams struggling with a pick and roll.
Yeah.
You know, Great Britain decided looked like to go under, and then the Ukrainians looked like they zoned it, and neither seemed to work.
Successful, but I'm okay with that. I love that both teams are doing well from the three-point line, but also I think both teams can use their length better as the pick and roll comes. They're dropping so far away, and at this level, especially Mihailuk is hitting a good clip from the three-point line, so is Nelson. Use your length, be a presence, keep that hand in the face. But right now, both teams getting a wide open look at the three. Yeah. And I don't shoot threes, Mark, but if I'm wide open like that, maybe I'll think about it.
And you're right. You know, it's like, it's especially from Great Britain's perspective, what they shoot, 45% in that first half.
Yeah.
Well, until Ukraine stop you shooting 45%.
Why not?
Keep shooting them.
Yeah.
Because you're only shooting 32% when you go into their strength, which is their size protecting the ring.
Yeah.
You know, challenge them. It's exactly how Iceland beat them, shooting the ball really well, making them go get quicker.
Right, and we spoke about Miles Hessen. He shoots a good three-point shot too, and he finally shot one and it went in. But for me, I think it's going to be the transition defense for Great Britain getting back. Ukraine do a fantastic job. They get their 3-on-2, 3-on-1, and they execute. So they've got to get back, miss or score back in defense. And then also, as we see, download the app. I have that on my phone. EuroBasket, all the score, all the latest games, and there is a lot of exciting games across. Where are we at? We're in Milan, we're in Germany.
Oh, we're in Cologne in Germany, we're in Prague. Man, it's a great place to be.
Right.
And we're in Tbilisi, so...
A lot of games.
A lot of games.
Fantastic games.
3 games a day in every group. Man, there's not enough hours in the day.
But it's a lot of great basketball.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm here for.
On demand.
On demand.
On demand.
If you get the app.
We are just about ready for the second half.
Because there's no way you can watch all these games in one go, so you won't want to miss a game. Some of these games, you know, tremendous adverts for the game. So start off the second quarter, Ukraine will have the possession. They have the 10-point lead. And Great Britain have got to make a statement with their defense. They've got to change something, because if you do the same, you get the same. Horn set for Ukraine. Goes straight inside to Lynn Heron in the block. Trying to go to work. Has it knocked away. Mockford doesn't know it's there. Weedle does. 3-on-2 break, which suddenly becomes 5-on-5. Nelson thinks about it. Weedle could have gone inside to Hessen. Tries to take it at the defense, and only one thing is going to happen if you take it at that ring protection. It's just poor decision. Now Hessen's wide open in the block. Weedle has a wide open look, wants to take it to the big man. Yeah,
and Weedle had a better transition push. He kind of let Ukraine's defense set back up.
Inside to Olesen, he had to wait for it. Drops it inside to Weedle with a turnaround. Is long. It's just shots you have to make, Zany. Rizniuk comes off the ball screen. Hessen with a soft show. Heron throws inside, just gets to the middle again, goes back to the other hand, help from Nelson, and we're going to get a travel call.
Good solid defense there.
Nelson's help's been exceptional.
Very good, exceptional help. Miles might need to buy him, I was going to say a drink later, but maybe after the tournament. That is fantastic help from Nelson. He's doing a bit of everything today.
Absolutely.
Defense, offense. Yep. Playing solid minutes for Great Britain.
Olesen, Mockford, Nelson, Hessen, Wheatle is on the floor for Great Britain. Here is Nelson to the corner. Hessen wide open, feet set, buries the 3.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
That's deja vu.
Go to the open side, make the guy playing Hessen decide to help or guard the shooter, and then just play.
And they went with Mockford to start this second half.
Yeah. Mihailuk penetrates. Catch and release on the 3 is good. Never went below Lukashov's head. Kept it up. Super pass right into the pocket. Knocks down the 3. Nelson steps back, leans back, is long with a 3.
He can get a better shot than that, in my opinion. The ones that he's hit is when he gets his feet set and off from him.
Again, attacks the middle, goes to the right hand, and he has broken down the middle.
Every time.
Absolutely. The Great Britain defense maybe they didn't make an adjustment. Here's Olaseni, ball fakes, is fouled on the second move.
Smart.
Alex Len uses his foul.
It's a smart move by Olaseni. He knows, look at this, just fakes, gets him up in the air and then goes up. Very intelligent, especially when you're playing big post players who love to block the shot.
And that's what we're talking about in terms of, you know, Olaseni's experience in some of the big leagues in Europe. Plays in the Turkish top division and has played there for a number of seasons now. You don't get taken back into that league without knowing how to play against bigs. And Olaseni, his career sparked by EuroBasket.
Yep, and makes both of his free throws.
So Great Britain take it back to a 10-point game. Lucas Sharp in the half court again. Almost a little Spain pick and roll action. Lucas Sharp drops it inside again. Olaseni does a great job losing it, but someone forgets the guard here. Look, it just drops it.
Yeah, good play by Ukraine. They're playing tough possessions. Great Britain doing a good job, and this is back door.
Olaseni through his legs. Who's coming up with that? Ukraine do.
Oof. There's a lot of sweat on the floor.
Everybody slipped. Mihailovic goes to the bucket, goes up, manufactures it. And Len gets off the floor quicker than anyone. Goes to the right hand again, but this time he's short.
But he goes to the middle.
Over the same shoulder. Here's Miles Hessen. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Penetration and the kick to Hessen has worked every time they've gone it. Here he is again, wide open, lines up the three. He's short this time, but it was a good look. Ukraine with a chance to push. Lucas Shov again. Just love the way he just sets tempo for this team. That's a travel.
Yeah, let's see. Drags that.
Heron travels, second travel of the early part of this third quarter. And substitution for him as Vaslav Bobrov checks back in. Bobrov has the 2 fouls. Weedle again still with the basketball. Nelson will go down low to Olaseni. He faces up, puts up the jumper, and is way off. Great Britain need a spark here. They need some energy because Ukraine are just controlling tempo right now. Snook gets it back, guarded by Mockford. Inside, outside, and why not with Mihailovic. Comes off the screen.
On the clock.
Goes down the lane again and kicks. Open three is short. On the glass, Mihailovic goes to work with it. Goals knocks away. The ball will stay with the Ukraine. And if you could sum it up, for me, it's like Ukraine are just a step quicker on everything.
Yeah, in rotation. Let's just have a look here. I thought this could have been off of
it was, yeah, it was. No one from Great Britain touched it again. To question the positioning of the official. Lukashov doesn't get it, but Ukraine again outwork Great Britain. Heluk is off for 3, and Great Britain dodge 4 bullets.
Yeah, they do. They're not getting a body on anyone boxing out, and Ukraine are just outworking, getting extra possessions.
Weedle needs a pass, finds a pass. Olaseni and Nelson almost contrived to turn that over. Nelson thinks about the behind the back, needs a pass and needs it quick now. Hessen puts it up off the glass with 1.4 on the possession, and it drops. Well, we said they needed a break, they just got one.
It's 3:19, so the bank is still open, Mark.
It's mid-afternoon.
There we go.
Then again, goes baseline this time, but doesn't have the option, has to kick it out. Lukashov, extra pass to the corner. Here, look, with 4 on the possession, fires a tough one, and just drops it from deep. And there's nothing else you can do right now. Defensively, there wasn't a lot wrong with it. But when you've got the ability of Mihailovic to shoot the 3, he can always knock it down. 53-39, Great Britain take a timeout halfway through the third.
They need this timeout here just to catch a breath, maybe put a sub in, set some sort of, I don't know, light under their belts, because Ukraine, for me, are outworking them on every possession, every defensive possession, every offensive possession. They're looking good, and they've extended their lead. 53-39. Let's listen in to what Coach Nate has to say.
Zачитайте ситуацию. Играем все время, all the time. We go, игра, hold down, but we go all the fast picks for him. But there is a screen supposed to come from the guard, not from position 3, okay? Then let's do like now, like this, Bogdan. You go the point, next one. You go horns down.
Well, we're here in the Ukrainian timeout,
and
but
one of you set the screen. Let's show those feet.
the question I have for you is, basically Carl Wiedel's there because they thought defensively he would be a good option on Mihailuk.
Yeah, and he's given him a bit too much space.
But offensively, they're struggling with him.
Yeah.
You know, and at the moment, you know, as we get a look at the EuroBasket QR code, scan that while it's on screen, get everything you possibly could want to know about every one of the 4 venues and the final venue in Berlin.
And who I want to know about is Mihailuk. He has a beautiful high release, lovely rotation in the ball, and they've actually subbed Van Oomstrom in for Carl Wiedel now, so let's see what he does on the defensive end.
See, in theory now, 2 guards as such, going little pick and roll. Olaseni with a ball fake and one. Super finish, little ball screen, sideline ball screen action. And again, with the extra guard in the game, they look a little bit more balanced.
Yeah, and this pick and roll, look, very smart, tough, gets him up in the air and gets rewarded with the and one. Beautiful.
Yeah, Pastovi not quite the same strength as Alex Lynn, who fouled in the same way, but Olaseni couldn't get through that contact. Got to make the throw, got to keep the scoreboard ticking over, which he does. Great Britain trail this by 11. Still an enormous amount of time to go in the game, that's not the issue. Here's Zotov. Didn't play in the World Cup qualifiers, joined the action, joined the roster for this EuroBasket. Mihailuk. A lot of dribble, takes the ball screen. Olaseni gets enough on him. They have to step back for the 2. Tough finish. Made him make a tough one, though. Olaseni all over the jump shot. So Mihailuk, though, is in rhythm right now.
He has got 17.
Olaseni's the release. And they may want to change something in the block because the big man is just holding. Olaseni's got to take that and make that, which is not what he's earned a living doing. Mihailuk with the basketball, goes inside Pestovi. Oof. Makes a living doing that.
Lucky it was foul on the floor because it was about to be a highlight play. Good look, Seals down low, and you're in trouble if you don't foul that. And that's
so Olaseni's going to step out. Dan Clark steps in.
I think that's Olaseni's 3rd foul.
Yeah, it is, yep. Interesting to see if Great Britain go to the pick and roll and Clark pops, because Pestovi, although he's asking Bazgadis now, he's like, oh, it's Clark in the game, maybe I can't zone it. So, but that option looks like it's been there the whole time. Sanon's in the game, instant offense, well, instant shooting. He gets his own rebound. Mihailuk steps back for the 3, is off as a push, as Nelson finally gets the foul he's been trying to get for a while.
And do you know what? That play was interrupted by Luke Nelson again. Yep. Just getting his hands in, just getting tips against the ball. He's playing solid on both ends. Really player of the match, in my opinion, for Great Britain.
Absolutely right. Bob Rupp picks up foul number 4. Here's Van Oostrom. Goes to Soko. Nelson curls, goes inside, and will go to the free throw line. And the Ukrainian defensive shape looks different because Pestovi, as he's trying to recover, isn't in the key way when he first catches the ball. So he's recovering, so the drive lane is there.
Yeah, and that's a smart move by Nelson there to put pressure on Pestovi to have to move his feet. And he gets a trip to the line.
But you have to make your throws, as you've said earlier on, and Great Britain in a bit of a hole, 13 down. Interesting roster lineup on the floor for Great Britain, because they do have the perimeter threat at the 5 with Clark, and Obi Soko down low with the right matchup is going to be a handle, and Nelson goes 0 for 2.
Yeah,
the line.
That's 6 from 10 from the line.
Yeah. Top again, handles off Mihailuk. Mihailuk's due a rotation soon. Great hands by Hessen. They almost came up with Great Britain. There looks due a rotation if Ukraine stay with their normal stuff. I would leave him in personally.
Yeah, he's the hot hand for Ukraine.
He doesn't look like he needs a blow. Sanon, and that's a foul on Soko, and he's, as he says to himself, be smart. Don't pick up your third foul on the sideline with the ball going to the halfway line.
And he just taps his head and he shakes his head and he knows it. And like we said, those are his second little tippy-tappy like fouls. You've got to be smart, mate. You've got to stay on the floor for Great Britain to be successful. And you can't afford to pick up cheap fouls, as we call it.
Absolutely right. You can't, especially if you're important. I mean, Sanon's going to knock that out of bounds. Van Oostrum and Nelson and Clark combine between the three to force him to go on the floor.
Good defensive stand.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see now where Great Britain go. Hessen in space, going to hand it off to Van Oostrum. Clark on the pick and pop, but Van Oostrum takes forever to look, and his defense on this side of the floor, throw it to the roller.
And they leave the ball wide open.
Yep. Hessen, last man back again, and it's the second time. You got to throw away the disappointment and get back.
And like I said, at this level, you leave a man wide open that long, he's gonna hit it.
Nelson goes inside. Hessen drops it off to Obisoku, who mishandles again. But even I'm thinking Hessen's going up, to be fair. Ball's knocked away. We'll go back to Great Britain. Oh, the referee on this side of the floor has called it.
That's the third time. I'm a referee fan, but here, that's the third time now. Let's see, because we get the privilege.
Yep, it's another Ukraine basket. It's another GB basketball.
Yeah, that's 3 for 3.
And the question I would have for any of the officials who are obviously listening to that is that obviously this official who caught it couldn't see that second deflection. His co-official could.
Yep.
And as we say, teamwork
is the dream work.
And official teamwork is as important as player teamwork. Just look down the middle again, gets to the middle, drops off Pestovi with a short jumper, is good.
That's tough to guard, isn't it? Even with Dan Clark, who's just as tall as him.
18-point game now, and Ukraine are still getting shots they want.
Yeah.
And Great Britain with Van Oostrum on the dribble. Nelson down the lane, going to put up a tough one, not going to get that to drop. But Great Britain going away from what was good, and it's a little bit about the individual at the moment.
Smart play.
Nelson again comes up with smart play.
Nelson is absolutely putting in a shift right now. He's had to get a sub. Look, gets on the rim. And Intelligent just hits it off of Ukraine's bum.
Point we made before, though, because they had bodies back, Clark and Soko get pieces of it. Nelson cleans it up. Yep. It's just working out, outworking people.
Yeah, but they need to find some sort of offense here. They're just out of sync and out of rhythm.
Hessen over Soko with a short one, can't get it to drop. Saves it, gets another full team. Van Oostrum can't have the ball stick. There's only 6 on the possession. Drops it inside. Obisoku off the glass. He's blocked. And Pestovi is just 2 meters. All he had to be was 2 meters 16 on that play.
Yeah. But a little... Yeah. I don't know. I think, yes, as Zero Gabe Olasene comes in, who just had the poise to fake. When you've got a big postman who loves to block shots, you've got to get them off the floor. You've got to be poised.
The other thing you have to realize is, obviously, there's a lot of time left in the game. Little ball fake, and Bobrov will go to the free throw line.
And that's Obisoko's fourth foul. Yep. And we spoke about his that foul. That's the one you should give. But because you've got 2 cheap ones in your pocket, now you're on your 4th foul, and we're in the 3rd quarter.
Yep, absolutely right. But what Great Britain have to realize here is that there's an issue for them there. This group is very competitive.
Right.
So if you're going to lose, you have to lose small, because then you have a chance. You go and beat Croatia. It doesn't matter if you've lost by 20 in this game.
Right.
And at the moment, they've got it's not about the one-off game. Tournament play, EuroBasket play lit with examples of teams who blow it by getting beat big.
Yeah.
So the frustration they might feel because they don't think they can win the game.
You've got to make the margin very, very small. If you lose, make it as small as possible.
Throw away that thought about, oh, we can't win, it's done. It's not done because there's 4 other games.
And there's a whole quarter and a minute left here, Mark.
Yeah, no, let's not forget that because they've slowed the Ukraine down.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they've done is this is the lowest scoring quarter for the Ukraine. But they've now lost their way and they're becoming a little frustrated.
Yeah, and Ukraine points per game average 80 points. So.
And Great Britain average what?
70.
Like 70.
Yeah.
So everyone's pretty much on target. And 80 to 70 would be a disaster for any team in the first game. Here's Mockford. And what the Ukraine have done is really guarded the 3-point line. And Great Britain still insist on driving into traffic. Ukrainian defense is set, and they go into a hole of yellow. And they get bowed out with the foul because Shannon wanted a piece of it. Otherwise, we would have had the offensive foul as Zotov took position.
Well, good to see Van Oostrum being aggressive, though. He's got to get himself going. I don't even know if he's taken a shot yet, but he makes his way to the line and he hits the first. So ticks the ball over with the clock on 55.6 seconds. Absolutely.
So important for Great Britain to try and hang in here. So important for the Ukraine to get the big win. That's the other end of that debate. They could end up in a tie where this win, if it's big enough, could take them all the way through. Great Britain take it back to a 18-point game. Here comes Zotov again. Bob Ruff dive. Bob Ruff's a little quicker at that 4 spot. Shannon only knows one way to play this game. It's like put your head down and try and score. And the ball will go to the Ukraine with, I don't know why that's it's not a new 14, they're at 14, I assume.
Let me see this, because Miles wanted a, yep, he's right, he's asking for a foul, but that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart basketball. You're not going to get that at this level. You get little smart, intelligent holds, pulls of the jersey, of the hand. You can let the referee know.
Yeah. I mean, Pustovi has had years in the ACB in Spain. He's very experienced.
He's only 30 though.
Yeah, but that's not
Looks
when
like
he
a
was young.
50-year-old man.
I know. Well, that's a bit harsh.
Okay, sorry.
I won't tell him you said that. He gave you all that insight before
I know,
the game.
It was so sweet. I'll take it back for Serbi. I apologize. You look fantastic.
In the lane, Zutov for the open 3 is good. Pass the ball, get an open look, make an open shot.
Yeah, and that was good for them in the first half, right? They shared the basketball. Absolutely. And then was rewarded with great team movement.
Van Oostrum will take the Olaseni screen, who gets a little Spain pick and roll action. Gets deep, and Van Oostrum throws it away. And the great thing about this Ukrainian defense, even though there was a potential mismatch, the help side stayed. So therefore the pass, so that if the help side stayed, they're giving up the skip. They'll recover to the skip. Here's Shannon. Is he going to get it away? Of course he is. And they're going to call a foul on this. Yep, holding foul. Out of control, diving to the ring. Who's going to get him? Olaseni gets him by bringing his arms down.
Let me see.
That's 4 for him, I think, as well.
Haven't put it on yet. Let's see. Yep, that's his 4th also. So we've got him and Obisoko in 4 fouls with a whole quarter to play, and really 2 of our solid.
Yeah, the 2 of the Great Britain build it around, Olaseni for a while, and Soko was huge in qualifiers, although not starting him, and he doesn't appear to be a focal point offensively. It doesn't help. Anderson.
Looks all right.
If he'd have had an extra Weetabix this morning, I think he may have made it. But we've reached the end of the 3rd quarter. And Great Britain trail the Ukraine a really dominant Ukraine, 66-44, and that's because the Ukraine have played exceptional, simple, heads-up basketball.
Yeah, and I think hats off to Ukraine. Like we said, they play great team basketball. Here we see into the Great Britain timeout a little down. There's no energy. For me, if I'm in here, I'm grabbing them up by the jersey and saying, come on, boys, we still got 1 quarter left. We need to chip away. If we can't win this game, how close can we get to that score? Sorry, we see the stats there on the screen, but for me, I think you need to look at the bigger aspect of this tournament, right? As we see the 3rd quarter plays, which were really good. Maybe go back to this, which has been the 3-point shot, driving, kicking, drawing the defense. But for me, I think you just need some energy. You need to ignite your team.
Yeah, and we made the point. This is day 1 of EuroBasket.
Right.
France lost yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, are they going to go in a huddle looking a little bit flat and disappointed? No, they went all the way through, and it was like a 10-point game as such.
Yeah.
Great Britain have 2 objectives in this 3rd quarter. One is, yeah, if we can have a great run, we want to get back in the game, absolutely. But they've got to win the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Try and get as close to a 10-point game as they can, because then they're still in the tournament.
Right.
They lose by 30.
You're out.
Unless they win games, they're out the tournament.
Yeah. And then also adjust, right? Luke is going off. He's having a great day at the office, so make sure you match up with him. He's got he has 17 points, so match up with him quick. Go ahead and scan your QR code there, but also just chip away. And you know what's great about momentum and good plays? It does spark that momentum that you need.
Start of this 4th quarter. Great Britain with the basketball, Nelson back in the game. And without Nelson, they have struggled. Weedle comes off the down screen. Nelson with the handoff. They go find Weedle wide open, who can't knock the 3 down. Nelson again. Finds Whelan, puts up the 3, doesn't get it to go. And Ukraine dodged the Whelan bullet, definitely. Zutov looks inside.
Goes middle.
Goes with the right hand again and gets the same. So at some point in the game, someone's got to say he's just gone 6 from 7 on the same move. Can we do something different? Clark outside, lines up the 3, is off. And Shannon has it. Looks up to the floor. Pustovi is fouled by Wheatle.
And Pustovi not looking like the old man I talked about earlier. Great run by him, looking young. Good poise underneath and hacks down, easy to call, and gets his way to the line.
He didn't hear you. You don't have to make up for it now.
I know, but he might
pick up. He might pick up it on demand.
Yes. He might hear me later. And it's a long tournament as he hits the first.
The great thing for me about Pustovi, he just plays what he is. Like, he stepped his length through, so if you're going to hack him, the referee's going to see it, and he's protected the basketball. He runs from front of ring to front of ring and makes his free throws.
Yeah, and also his team rewarded him. When your big guy is running rim to rim like that and doesn't get rewarded, they stop running. But wow, great job by him.
Nelson's almost been like the Lone Ranger out there at the moment, at the point. And again, no movement from Great Britain. The Ukraine.
Wrong pass, maybe.
Wrong decision, should have shot it, but the great thing for me again, and this is what Coach Bagatskis, being all that experience, sees the change of lineup. Pustovi then challenges the ball screen as opposed to zoning it.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, players at this level have to make those adjustments, and the Ukraine, this is a great performance. Shannon's still looking for scores.
Whoa, okay.
When it's not your night and your boy gets a little deflection, Pustovi gets 2 off his elbow.
And he's smiling about that one. Nelson, for me, I think he's the only offensive player looking to score, so I think he stops passing and gets it to the rim. Here he goes.
Carl Weedle in the lane for 2, can't finish the layup, gets the contact. I think the interesting thing, and it's so evident with the great teams already on day one of every tournament, is the way people find people in the areas that they're supposed to find them in. I.e., like Zutov penetrates, there's a shooter outside him. If they leave him, that's where it goes. Right. On the pick and roll action, if you leave in the wrong, they'll find the player you should find out of the pick and roll, because if Cavell Bigby Williams is setting the screen, he's going to dive to the ring. You should be knowing that's where he's going. If Clark sets the screen, he's going to pick and pop. Obi Soko needs it around the mid-range. It's Cavell Bigby Williams get a great hook back. Yeah. Shows his athleticism, which has teased Great Britain for many years.
Well, and this is what I talked about, the small, short preparation is tough to learn as Stovey puts up a jump shot, but a big rebound. Good work by Big Williams. Sorry, I'll hand it back to you.
No, you're good. Nelson again finds the open shooter. Extra pass. Great rotation by Ukraine defensively. But the Great Britain team share it until you get the open good shooter. So great defense, great rotation. Great Britain come up and find Luke Nelson open because they've taken the extra pass. Where has that been for Great Britain? Also, Ukraine make the difference defensively. It's a great adjustment, Coach Bagatis. Shannon still looking to score. Finally makes one drop.
Long day for him. Long day. But shoot, Mark. Shoot.
If you're not going to let him shoot, don't pick him.
Right.
Whelan comes off the screen. Bigby Williams with a foul line jump shot, knocks it down. Hey, coach, I should have played more.
Put me in, coach.
Yep, put me in.
Yeah, but there's been foul trouble, and this is it. We're early in the competition, and you can build trust with your coach. Good, solid minutes, and he'll put him in earlier. Stovey building a house down there. That's over 3 seconds, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it was. But
they're not going to call that.
They forced him to his weak hand. Whereas they let Lee go to his strong hand and finish, they forced Stovey to come back and go to his weaker hand. It's not rocket science. The way Ukraine, I love the way they've built their defense, the way they've shared the basketball, kept the game pretty simple. The game is simple, though, when you make jump shots.
Right. Both teams with some subs. Van Noostrom in now for a well-needed break. Nelson needs a breather.
Clark steps into the space, lines up the three, fills it up.
And Clark needs to see that through the rim. Dan Clark with 115 caps for his country, Great Britain. And a tripping foul, I think. Or
just got caught up. This is my love of pick and roll, actually. You just saw the recovering player coming from behind him because they tried to zone it, so he waits for him to run into it, then puts the shot up.
Yeah, good, smart intelligence here by Dan Clark. They run him off the line, and he just readjusts himself back outside the three.
So Great Britain have gone down the floor. Bigby Williams has a foul line open jump shot.
Yep.
They've moved the ball. They've got it to Luke Nelson for an open shot. Clark makes a move, open shot. They have the ability, Great Britain, to play with Ukraine, but Ukraine have just done that type of thing all game.
Yeah, but that's 3 consecutive good plays, right? Yeah. Where's the excitement? Where's the adrenaline? Where is the let's go, boys?
Exactly.
It's just, I know Great Britain are down, but you've got to get some sort of energy, fun like this, and a miss up, but
And even though, you look at the player and you think, oh, okay, but you have the 5 handling the ball and someone going to the bucket that's going to get it blocked.
Yeah, nice.
That's not what the Ukraine or the better teams in this competition will do. It's about, no, you have the best phrase for this. You stay in your lane. You do what you do. Here's Zotov outside. What he does is handle it and create. Nice find, open 3, and it's an air ball. William comes down with it, chance to run. And it doesn't matter, to make or miss, you're going to make more than you miss. Right. Here's Van Noostrom, handles it, gets into the foul line area. Bigby Williams asked to do things with the basketball on the dribble.
Also, I would like to see Great Britain get out in transition, in my opinion. They pull up on the transition opportunity. They get a steal. Instead of putting pressure on the referees at the rim to call a foul, they bring it out. And sometimes that's not always best.
So tough, feet set wide open, fills it up. Didn't have to do, Sidorov gets his feet set, knocks it down. And no one guarding him at all.
Shooting 11 from 31 from the three-point line, Ukraine, 35%.
78-54, timeout Great Britain.
Oh, listen in.
All pick and rolls. All right, all pick and rolls. All right, we're gonna blitz. All right, 1 through 4, we switch. All right, unless the ball bombs on there. Blitz the pick and roll, blitz the pick and roll. Everybody's got to rotate behind. All right, just to get aggressive with that, we'll try and come up with some steals and then run. All right. Other than that, offensively, just get into a lot of drags. All right, a lot of drags, and we just got to roll. If it's not there, the other big come up and we play second side. All right.
For the dribble and do not mark or not start attacks for them. If possible, share the journey with your friends. Do not waste water and energy in harsh facilities. Respect the diversity and avoid any discrimination of race, religion, gender, or social status.
Hey, just if you needed to know, the second game of the day, as you can already see, a number of Greek flags in the gym. Greece in Croatia against Croatia. That follows this game between the Ukraine and Great Britain, which at the moment, the Ukraine are dominant, 78-54. It's been a tremendous performance all round in terms of their offense, their defense. They've taken good options. They're now able to rotate, so they're not going to expend too much energy. 5 minutes to go, 24-point game. Obi Soko back in the game. Whelan stops, pops, and knocks it down.
Really nice jump shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
A few more of them. Just keep ticking away at the scoreboard.
As we keep saying, a 10-point game keeps Great Britain in the competition. A 25-point game gives Ukraine a huge leg up in qualification. So tough, fires it, is short, better defensive effort. Van Oostrum has it. Whelan runs the floor, reward him. No, they're going to come off the ball screen. Obi Soko rolls.
2 on 3 here. What do they get? Ukraine.
So
good.
Tough, going to wait, find the better option. To the baseline, Bobrov for 2. I mean, Bobrov today has been really hampered by foul trouble, but normally a major factor in the World Cup qualifiers. Third most efficient player for Ukraine.
Oh, nice.
Seriously solid performance.
That's a good stat to have.
Just been hampered by foul trouble. Wheedle down the lane, doesn't get it. Obi Soko with the tip. So important for any country to just play hard all the way through the game. Got to get as close as you can. 22-point game, 3:20 to go. Sidorov. Short roll, foul line jump shot is off. Van Oostrum has a chance to run. Early ball screen. Van Oostrum gets in the lane, takes a lean back floater off the glass, which doesn't drop. Sidorov leads the break for the Ukraine, who spot up. Sidorov, high screen.
Little
interesting pass. They can't complete it.
That's a shame. I don't know if he was ready for that.
No, he definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
Foul as Sidorov again, still playing hard. They're looking for as big a win as possible here. Didn't like the numbers, didn't like the way it was structured, so he was going to take the foul. Defense by Chechenko, who's also had a relatively quiet night for the Ukraine. 45% three-point shooter, Chechenko. Here's Bigby Williams. Tries to shake one, goes with a left hand. Doesn't get the hook. And the Ukraine a chance to make this a 25-point game. Solarov gets open, comes back, foul line jump shot, stops and pops and fills it up.
Yeah, really nice movement from the Ukraine, sticking with this kind of weaving outside and just moving the Great Britain defense here, and he just sets his feet. Look at this. When you get in that rhythm, nice follow through. Nothing but net. It's my favorite type of basketball, Mark.
Absolutely. And everybody that's come in has played within this Ukrainian system and just executed really well.
Yeah.
And they're being really relentless now. This is Great Britain's last time out with 2:23 to go. Just take a listen.
Automatic, all right? Automatic, we have to get over. But these high ones in here, you're talking to them, go under. If they rescreen, now it's the blitz. But everything else tied around the line, all right? The other thing offensively, this isn't just a one-on-one show, all right? Just keep moving the ball, all right?
Let's try and be connected for these last 2 minutes, bro. Last 2 minutes. Try and be connected.
Не только тогда. Если полностью уже все равно. Если нет, ты идешь как делаешь.
Well, 2:23 to go. Great Britain take their last time out with 2:23 to go. They're on the wrong end of a 82-58 scoreline. And Ukraine have acquitted themselves incredibly well today. Miroslav Bobrov, Bogdan Biznyuk, who's been so aggressive the whole way through, have all had contributions. Van Oostrom comes off the ball screen. Gets it stripped. Solarov, nice finish.
Really nice finish.
Last 2 minutes.
And
Whelan, ball fakes, drops it inside and asks Obisoko to handle a pass that was not really there.
I'm going to put our man of the match in for us both. Don't worry, I've got your back. Are you agreed on Meherluk? Is okay?
I think Meherluk's
been solid
because the way he started the game. Same thing. Alex Len started the game were good. Both those two incredibly good for Ukraine. Van Oostrom will bring it. Whelan runs the floor. He has options. Turns down the ball. Obisoko on the pick. And Van Oostrom, hard show, goes backwards. Can't find a pass. Whelan looks inside. We're down at 10 on the clock. Bigby Williams with the foul line jump shot. Last minute of what's been an impressive first game by the Ukraine. Inside, outside, their ball movement's been exceptional. Defensively, they've kept Great Britain at the moment to under 60. And that's just a great defensive performance by the Ukraine. That's going to go back to the Ukraine. And Coach Bagatskis is a wily coach that's been in EuroBasket situations with Latvia on 5 occasions. And he knows how important momentum is in tournaments.
Yeah. And I definitely think Ukraine have done a fantastic job just sucking and the momentum and the energy out of Great Britain and just sticking to what they've been great at, right there, getting on the rim. Everyone has done their job. Like you say, it's my favorite line. Everyone stayed in their lane. Everyone's been successful at what they do and really put pressure, and they've looked very, very good. And if this is their first win, right? They played last week in the World Cup qualifiers, and they should be feeling good.
I think it's.
And we spoke about that at halftime as well, didn't we?
Including their prep games for the World Cup qualifiers, this may be their first W. They may have had a win first game. They might have been 1-5 in prep, but no, they were first. This is their first win.
Yeah.
It was Italy that was 1-5 in prep. Here's Van Oostrom. Last 20 seconds of. Anderson decides to throw it, chop the three, and knocks it down.
Yeah, smart play. They need to keep chipping away at the scoreboard.
And again, Anderson, as you keep saying, stay in the lane. He's a good spot-up shooter.
Yep.
The defense was back, so he took the shot. So Todd just answers with the same. And that has been a great day at the office for the Ukraine. For all sorts of reasons, for all the reasons that you can all know about. But in terms of the EuroBasket first game, they have created some momentum here. That's going to bode well for them. Big size, good perimeter play. Their defense was exceptional. And they get the win over Great Britain, 90-61. And that's a big margin for Great Britain to try and erase in any tied situation.
I think it's all about the Ukraine right now. I think I spoke about Pestrovic trying to talk about the passion and the love for the game and for their country. And I think they've done a really good job. I think they established their big boys, their big post players down low, and they really, once you start to find your post players down low, as we see, they shot 53% and 35, you know, not a crazy clip from the three-point line. And but when they found themselves down low, and then it helps them spread the floor. They tied the rebounding game 43 apiece, and they turned over the ball 20 times. They forced Great Britain to turn over the ball 20 times. And when you push somebody over that edge, you're going to get a win. And then really, Luke Nelson, for me, man of the match for Great Britain, absolutely put his heart and effort on the floor, defensively and offensively. Really their only scorer at times.
And as we said during commentary, Mihailuk really did lead his country exceptionally well early in the game. Some great decisions, not just he's made shots, but he's sharing the ball. And they got their quality guys going. And then, as much as we were frustrated by making the same move and scoring every time,
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
You know, they did a great job feeding the bear, so to speak, on the inside. So good win for the Ukraine. You're not going to win basketball games at EuroBasket shooting 30% from the two-point range, which is what Great Britain did. And as you pointed out, turning it over 20 times.
Yeah.
So it's day one. Everyone's still alive in the competition on day one. But Ukraine are in a very good place. Great size, great ability to shoot the three, and a series of young fans now that have been impressed with that performance. And you can't say enough great things about the way that Coach Magalis, you know, ran his bench, really kept the intensity high. And we're going to get the chance to look at the best plays of the second half, and most of those plays are plays in yellow.
Yeah, and Alex Len, we did give man of the match to number 10, Mihailuk, but I felt like this guy here, Alex Len, which is a lot of the highlights, established himself beautifully down low. I'm a post player by trade, so I really enjoy great post play. And that really just opens up the floor for the rest of your team. Ukraine did a fantastic job moving the ball, using the pick and roll well, establishing their post play, and really successful. And they've got a 30-plus margin right now to go into their next game. They're in a lovely position on game day one. Absolutely
great position. You know, it's like people could talk about preparation and lack of it or quality of it, because teams have done it in different ways coming to this EuroBasket.
Yeah.
But it's what you do. And from when I saw the Ukraine play against Italy, they have moved on a mile. Yeah. And that's all you can do in prep. It doesn't matter if it's a week long or if it's 2 months long. And they have moved on. Len is as fits better. Mihailuk's in rhythm with the team. A lot of that's down to coach and to Lukashov at the point, really sharing the basketball. So the Ukrainians we've always found in these tournaments, with the size they have and their ability to shoot the shot, are a live contender. Okay, they're not Spain, they're not Germany, but who knows? Teams go on runs in momentum in the Euro. Is it their turn? Maybe it deserves to be their turn.
Yeah, and I felt like they smelt blood early, and they really just pushed on it and didn't let off the steam, in my opinion. They kept pushing. They knew they had the momentum. We spoke about it at halftime. Hey, we need to learn from our previous games. Not too long ago, their loss against Iceland and their loss against Italy, and they've learned really quickly. And they came back out in that fourth quarter and did you know, they got their transition plays, they got their post play. I thoroughly enjoyed the Ukraine basketball team this afternoon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They were tremendous. They did a really, really great job doing what we always say. Keep it simple.
Simple,
you know, keep it simple. Make a pass to someone in the same color uniform. They did that. Shoot a shot when you're open and take the shots you should take and not necessarily the ones you want to take. And they were... And then your boy Pastovi sort of sums them up, you know? He does exactly what he needs to do. And there's the confirmation of that result, 90-61. Croatia and Greece are next up. And don't forget, later on tonight, Italy and Estonia. What a great start to the competition. Ukraine get the win, and a big win. And that really is going to help them as this qualification group goes forward. Should get a group look at the group table. But anyway, it's been a pleasure on game one. We'll see you shortly for game two. Don't go away. Ukraine get the win. Bye for now.
When I